President Trump, you claim to be a man who makes great deals. Well, God has sent me with an offer for you to save your nation from his destruction. A 7-year open settlement for all descendants of the transatlantic slave trade who wish to repatriate to Liberia or Sierra Leone. Here are the terms, assuming 2 million descendants take you up on the offer. Each descendant gets $1 million. That's $2 trillion over 7 years, but that's not all. $10 billion over 7 years to Liberia or Sierra Leone for us to build 5,000 modern K-12 schools, fully staffed, owned, and free. $7 billion over 7 years for military aid, training, defense, equipment, and regional security, so we never have to run back to America. $50 billion over 7 years for national infrastructure, roads, power grids, water systems, internet, airports, and ports, done right. That's a total of $2.1 trillion over 7 years, and what do you get in return, President Trump? You become the great liberator, respected not just by black people worldwide, but by leaders and nations across the globe. You did what no president, king, or global institution ever could. You solved America's longest conflict. You shifted the balance of power in Africa. You broke a 400-year cycle, and you're remembered not just in black history, but in world history. You fulfilled Thomas Jefferson's unfinished plan. In Notes on the State of Virginia, he wrote that the only way to heal the deep wounds of slavery was to send the freed people out, equip them, and support them until they became a strong, self-sufficient nation of their own. You become the man who did what Abraham Lincoln dreamed but could not finish. He proposed voluntary relocation to Liberia for free slaves with government U.S. support, believing both sides would benefit. You bring domestic peace and stability to America. 2 million descendants of enslaved people, many who carry the deepest generational burdens from centuries of injustice, will take you up on the offer to build a new nation alongside their brothers and sisters, free from persecution and finally positioned to rise with dignity, strength, and sovereignty. You reduce some of the heaviest long-term societal costs, those who are chronically homeless, formerly incarcerated with limited opportunities, elderly without family support, and medically dependent without sustainable care. This creates relief for U.S. housing, jobs, public schools, and medical systems, reduces spending on prisons, welfare, Section 8, public health care, and legal battles. You achieve a lighter, more focused domestic budget and clearer cultural identity. You end the race conflict in one generation. No more affirmative action wars, no more critical race theory debates, no more systematic racism lawsuits, no more DEI mandates. You finally resolve America's longest conflict, the one no president ever could. You get U.S. corporate expansion on equal terms. America gains a trusted trade partner in West Africa. U.S. companies lead the charge in building 5,000 schools, national infrastructure, and defense systems. Contracts worth tens of billions. Later, they gain early access to a rising $100 billion plus market through fair bidding, not dominance. From roads to telecom, food to fintech, America gets first-in-line opportunities with a free sovereign ally. We are not building on what Liberia or Sierra Leone is. We are building what no African nation has ever been allowed to become: a fully sovereign, black-led, resource-rich, globally respected nation, free from Western manipulation, Chinese debt, or post-colonial failure. This is not reform. These two nations sit on hundreds of billions in raw, God-given wealth, long held back by instability and outside interference. Gold, diamonds, lithium, bauxite, timber, rubber, cocoa, palm oil, iron ore, fisheries, fertile land, and pristine coastlines for agriculture, tourism, and development. Deep water ports ready to rival the best in West Africa. With transparency, modern technology, and strategic investment, these blessings will be transformed into trillions in export-ready finished goods, millions of good-paying jobs across every sector, a foundation for regional trade leadership and global influence. This exceeds 40 acres and a mule. It's about seeding the $2.1 trillion launch of top-tier doctors, engineers, educators, and creators from the diaspora, natives rising in leadership, ownership, and generational opportunity, cooperative enterprises rooted in justice, not colonial systems, a new nation powered by shared ownership in schools, infrastructure, land, and enterprise. We can't even project what the GDP will be in 3 to 5 years. This is also about U.S. power. BRICS is expanding. Russia's working with Captain Traore in Burkina Faso. China's Belt and Road is buying loyalty in cement and steel. Europe is aging, scrambling, clinging for what's left. Africa is the future, but only one nation will lead the gateway into it. You decide whether it's a BRIC stronghold or an American partner. With this plan, America aligns with the richest, fastest growing black-led economy on earth. The West African corridor becomes a U.S.-aligned, export-ready, strategic, sovereign partner. Every future negotiation in Africa starts with a handshake from a former descendant of your soil. President Trump, again, you claim to be a man who makes great deals. Well, in this deal, you heal America's greatest wound. Without internal chaos or forced land or wealth transfers, you position U.S. power in West Africa and checkmate BRICS. bricks. You fulfill the vision of Jefferson, Lincoln, and the Most High God. You are now the great liberator, and you do it for less than what America already wasted on the Iraq war. They spent $2.2 trillion, left 500,000 dead, a region destabilized, and they birthed ISIS. You got no democracy, no peace, no allies. Or the Afghanistan war. They spent $2.3 trillion over 2 decades. Taliban was back in power in days, tons of resources, nothing to show for it. You got zero ROI. For $2.1 trillion over 7 years, you will be known as the president who freed the captives, completing what Jefferson and Lincoln only began. Strengthened America at home, expanded America abroad, securing a trade-anchored alliance in West Africa. You blocked BRICS from the gateway to Africa, claiming the future before your enemies do, and you align the United States with heaven itself on the right side of history, prophecy, and justice. But if you deny or delay, the Most High God has said, according to Numbers 35:33, that the blood that all races have shed in your nation will be cleansed by the blood of the people who shed it in the name of Yeshua, the soon-coming King. Get in touch with us at rep2025.org.